Good evening, everybody. This is Beacon 147, Season 2, Episode 7. And today is January 31st, 2014. We're going to get this show started. Woo! Right now. Hello, everybody. My name is Thomas, a.k.a. Noble Apocalypse, and joining me tonight, I have...
Bobby, a.k.a. Gradius.
Brandon, a.k.a. Gated.
I switched up the video stream just because I feel like everyone always looks in window 1, and I'm the center of attention, so if you're looking at the video now, I've strategically placed us in order of importance, and I just wanted to try something different, and I'm sure I'll switch it up from time to time. But we have a lot of news to talk about. We're a few days late due to Skyping technical difficulties, so we do apologize about that, but that enabled us to talk about two pieces of news that we would have missed had we gone on Wednesday instead of today. The first piece of news is that Friday, today, was the start of the Next Great Starship. I've not yet gotten a chance to watch it, but based on what I have kind of heard around the grapevine, it has to do with weapon building. Brandon, you said that you were watching it. What did you see?
Yeah, pretty much it was just the applications that had been sent in for what the weapon description that they wanted people to make, and it was Chris Roberts and a few other people from the CIG team, and they were just sitting around talking about how they felt the contestants have done. They're doing it in blocks at this point. Right. They're going to have a few contestants at a time, and then after that, between each episode, and then they're going to have a wild card episode, and then they're going to start moving into what they're going to have them start making for the starships. They did confirm that it is going to be the mercenary gunship. Cool. So that's exciting.
Yeah, so some of the things to keep in mind for those of you that aren't too familiar with what the Next Great Starship is, it's essentially a reality television show broadcasted via interwebs about the fan construction of a starship. So it'll have, the very traditional, at this point, reality show type stuff where, teams come in, they build something, another group of teams come in, build something else, and then they start voting people off. I'm sure there'll be an island and some torches.
Is there going to be
challenges?
Is there going to be little individual closet interviews?
Yeah, the confessionals.
Yes.
I really felt that those shaders could have been brighter on those weapons. I think Tamara did a terrible job at that. And you know what? Corey is a slut. I'll be the first to say it. Corey is a slut.
So,
oh my gosh.
I'm sure it'll be the reality show without all the drama, just more focused on the competition. So maybe more game show versus reality show. And, Sandy's heading up that project, so the production values are going to be high and solid. So I can't wait to see it. I can't wait to get enthralled in the series and kind of see the construction of a ship from start to finish with teams, that you're rooting for and things like that.
Yeah, I actually plan on watching that episode. I think I just saw it posted on RSI's Facebook page, so I think as soon as the episode here is over, I'll probably watch that video while waiting for other things to happen tonight. So,
like EverQuest?
What?
What
are you talking about?
Who does that?
I don't know.
All right, so since it looks like they're going to be doing these shows on Friday, it looks like old Spaceman's parking lot, a.k.a. Wingman's Hangar, decided to intrude on our territory and start doing his shows on Wednesdays. So we can expect to see Spaceman's parking lot occurring on Wednesdays.
He can expect some more of those parking tickets, too.
He can, and the train has once again decided to visit me. So, we had a community meeting today that lasted for 2 hours, and the trains decided to stay away. So, when better to come, except during a, recording. Speaking of recordings and things of that nature, last week we had a competition, as we've been doing recently, for a mouse pad, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it was the Origin Jumpworks mouse pad, which features the 300 series, and I believe the M50 on the mouse pad. Very sexy. The person who won this was, drumroll, Gradius.
Oh, no. I believe it was Matthew Arnold. Let me confirm that real quick, though, but I'm pretty sure it was.
Yeah, so Matthew Arnold, we're not going to read the post word for word. He had a couple of them. Pretty humorous and some good content. And by all means, guys, these competitions are not just, you suck, we hate you. I mean, that doesn't have to be the comments. They can be something serious. They can be something humorous. Or they could be the you suck, we hate yous. So we are going to do another giveaway. And this time, it is going to be for a Star Citizen coffee mug, which I'm holding up here, a.k.a. Vanna White style. It is a standard-sized coffee mug, cylindrical in shape, black handle, with a white Star Citizen logo on the... I call it the back because I'm right-handed, so you can't show
I know, it is kind of funny, right?
As you're drinking it, that it is a Star Citizen mug, unless you drink it at lefty. So depending
And
upon
it feels
how you
awkward drinking it as a lefty. It's very weird. I tried. It's weird.
Left-handed people need to be killed. I mean, I think that's universally been decided since nuns started teaching in Catholic school that left-handed people need to be killed.
It's a curse. But yeah, Matthew, man, post on or send us a message via YouTube or Google Plus. We need your address, I guess, to mail the thing to you. And as soon as I get that from you, I will send this mouse pad to you.
Now, I want to also kind of hint at some of the stuff that we're going to do. We have plenty of giveaways left. So, I mean, this is going to be a recurring feature. But very soon, due to the kindness of our folks at Star Citizen HQ, a.k.a. Robert Space Industries, a.k.a. Sandy, we have a bunch of UEE stickers, and by a bunch, I mean a shit ton. I could probably paint my entire house with UEE stickers. How we're going to do this is I want everybody who does this to get one. And next week, there will be an address that I will post secretly in the video, probably a lower third. And all you have to do is send a self-addressed stamped envelope capable of carrying something that's, I don't know, this big.
What,
for reference.
5x5, something like that? I don't know.
4x4, something like that. I think a standard sized envelope. I think I might have one here. We'll do it. Yes, a standard size envelope will carry the sticker. So if you will send a standard self-addressed size envelope to the address that I will be linking next week with a love note, money, bribery, anything like that you want to send it, gift cards, revenge porn pics of your girlfriend. If you send that,
send those
with a self-addressed stamped envelope, I will send off a sticker to you. And the ones that include those, the funniest or coolest things, I might give you a shout out on the show by saying, "Hey, look, this is from, I like bananas 23, and he wrote me a haiku." So that'll start next week, and it will be until I run out. So sometime in about 3014, I think I've got about 1,000 years worth of stickers. So
make sure you include a stamp. If you don't include
if you don't include a stamp, you won't get one. I mean, it's going to be that simple. But there will be a secret magic address that I will reveal next week. So to keep you watching. And if you want our coffee mug, remember the 3 rules of this: like, comment, and subscribe if you have not. And again, that helps us out a lot. That bumps up our YouTube ratings. And if you don't watch us on YouTube, you listen to us over our podcast feeds, either on iTunes or Stitcher, leave us a review there. And I read the podcast feeds, the reviews on iTunes. Gradius does the Stitchery type stuff, the Stitchery doos, and he will take care of you there. So I think we've got all of the business out of the way. We were talking a little bit, and it's been all over the news. I mean, CBS covered it, Fox News covered it, and every gaming blog in existence covered it, was the very expensive ship battle in EVE that cost about 300,000 real US dollar converted money to be lost over an unpaid bill, if I'm not mistaken. Something about some ship or station rent not being paid, and a group of people decided to take over.
Oh, yeah.
And it cracked me up how mainstream this got. I mean, I'm pretty big into a lot of the gaming stuff, the Kotakus and Massive and all that other stuff. I read their feeds on the Facebook and their RSS stuff, and I expected to see it there. In fact, that's where it broke. But what shocked me was the fact that CBS sent a war correspondent to cover this. Fox News covered it, and it was on the homepage of Fox News. We're on a
CBS sent a war correspondent.
Yes, CBS sent a war correspondent, and the Fox News channel during State of the Union week, while the Antichrist himself is in office, decided to put this on the front page of Fox News. So there's something really crazy in the fact that. Go ahead.
I have to know, was the war correspondent like some retired general or something? I mean, who was this guy?
I don't know. I didn't see it myself. I just saw where people were talking about the fact that CBS actually sent a war correspondent on. Wow. What I was really hoping is, during the presidential elections, how some of I think it's CNN or somebody has the big map that they stand on that's blue screen. They're like, yes, and California has voted for the Democrats, and they walk on it. It would be so awesome if their war correspondent was in that room and they were running, like those the maps, the live map feeds that show ships blowing up. There's just something about that's so crazy.
Kind of cool, actually.
Yeah, and they're even erecting a memorial there too.
Yeah,
in the game, it's like this has gone above and beyond anything I've expected them to do so far.
Now we kind of expect this. I mean, those of us that are at all interested in space sims know that this happens all the time in EVE. Maybe not on this scale, but every now and again, and I say weekly, monthly, you're going to see $200,000 of ships lost in a battle, or so and so decided to do something else, and it's kind of being covered all over the place. But this was the first time outside of I think Grand Theft Auto 5 being launched that I saw mainstream media getting involved in it. And I guess
unless it was something about violence in video games.
I played Mario, so I felt like I needed to throw turtle shells at people. But I mean, that's what everyone does, or fireballs. It just depends.
Yeah.
But I guess
I took the mushrooms myself.
I only use drugs after playing Mario.
Yeah, that's what happens.
But the reason why I bring it up is not just because it's a space sim and not because of the monetary losses associated with it, and not because mainstream media is picking it up, but how will mainstream media potentially handle something like that happening in Star Citizen? We've seen, I mean, there are ships that cost $1,250. And
the interest,
undoubtedly there will be more expensive ships in the game, maybe through conversion of resources to US dollars that make them cost that much. But do you think that Star Citizen will receive this type of press coverage if there are let me rephrase that, when there are big battles? Or do you think that this is just because it's kind of a slow news week, even though, the Antichrist gave his State of the Union address and Fox News decided to put this on their homepage? I'm just trying to figure out, there was news this week. There was not a lack of news. We had a State of the Union. We have a nuclear meltdown occurring in the UK. Why was this covered? I guess is my question.
I think a lot of people care about their hobbies, man, and there's a lot more gamers out there than people realize, so this stuff hits home. Even people who've never touched EVE can relate to this type of thing because they've probably been in some big battle, or people who've played Dark Age of Camelot or Guild Wars 2, the big, you're sieging a big castle or something like that. A lot of people out there, more than we think, can relate easily to this type of thing. So when this type of, my wife came home from work and she was like, Bobby, did you see Yahoo today? And I'm like, no, because I don't go to Yahoo, but it was all over the front page. Like, this big battle happened in EVE. And I'm like, well, really? So, I immediately go to Reddit, I'm looking it up, and it was huge.
Yeah.
Coverage was everywhere. And I think with Star Citizen, though we won't see the same scale, battle size, wise or whatever, I think the potential's there, man. I do, because those Hornets, $110 a piece. Avengers, $60 here, $50 here and there. Yeah.
And
it's going to happen all the time.
There's no direct market let me rephrase that. There's no game-sanctioned direct market for ship purchases in EVE. There are conversionary methods that can be done. You can buy Plex, whatever, and then convert that into ISK, and then use the ISK to purchase things. So there is, a method to the madness. And is that how they determine the value of these things?
They basically, you create a dollar value because a Plex is a pilot license. You can actually use it for 1 month of game time, or sell it to someone who wants to buy game time because they play the game a lot. So they kind of break down, okay, well, a Plex costs $20. There's your monetary value for ISK, right? So, if we're talking a single Plex is $20, think about how many of those went into a $200,000 fight. We're talking billions, if not trillions of, dirty math in my head or whatever, and in-game currency lost in this huge fight.
Yeah, it's just interesting to me how much the media covered this, and again how much mainstream media covered it. And I'm wondering if this, with all the coverage of Bitcoin being the big hot thing with speculators and investors, and media starting to cover virtual events, is there going to be more of a focus on in-game currencies and speculating in-game currencies? There's not much different between a Bitcoin and a Plex. At the end of the day, they're currencies that can be exchanged for dollars, and it's just a matter of how those currencies are created, but it's not that far of a step. I'm wondering how much longer we're going to have the freedom to, with all the press coverage, how long is it going to be before legislatures get their hands in it and start to go, there's some revenue there that we can possibly make if we taxed people. I kind of almost see this being Pandora's box. I kind of want these things to be on the back burner, not to be the focus, so we can enjoy the wild, wild west that we have.
Well, maybe not a total tangent, but I swear there was a video that I watched with Chris Roberts in it where he said that, one day he hopes that the economy and Star Citizen evolves to the point where there was a real money system to trade goods and things like that, whether it was US dollars or, UEE bucks or whatever. I'm almost positive I watched it. This is an early video of him saying that, hopefully there is some sort of real world currency marketplace for, people that play the game. I don't know.
Yeah, we've seen it with Diablo, with the real money auction house. We saw that kind of got faded away. I'm sure there's the PR reason why it happened, and then there's the real reason why it happened, and there are benefits pros and cons of why it happened. But it kind of scares me when I see games like Star Citizen and someone like me who has put a lot of money into the game. If there's ever a way for me to quote unquote cash out, I'd hate for me to have to do income tax on my vast monetary empire in a virtual game. So,
you have to declare how much titanium ore you've mined, and declare on your taxes.
Yeah, the IRS is auditing people's inventories and guild banks.
Yep.
But I don't know, it's just interesting how much, like I said, how much media has changed and how the focus has gone on that. And you always hear about how gaming is dead. It's the big long cycle games are dead. It's mobile games, it's Facebook games. We know that it's not dead. Chris Roberts knows it's not dead. But you hear that, and then you see things like this, and is it really dead? Where is the tail wagging the dog? Who knows? I just found it interesting.
Yeah.
Well, in addition to all the crazy that's been going on, the much waited for organization system launched. I was able to do some private testing with it. Bobby was able to do some. I don't know if Brandon, you were lucky enough to do some of the private testing on it, but the private testing on it, I feel was more just server balancing. Can we handle the load that we got? Everything that I noticed in testing came in live. So that's pretty cool. And I'm gonna switch cameras, and you guys hopefully can. Oops, that's the wrong camera. Let me switch to 2. There we go. I've actually pulled up the fleet page here. For those of you that don't know how to get to this, under your My RSI tab, you have your organizations. So, and this is the organization main page. I am the leader of our humble organization, the folded division of the Chosen Gaming Community. And we haven't done a lot of recruiting or anything here, but this is good because it kind of shows you the nuts and bolts of what you can do. Once you create your organization, the process is point and click. It's what do you want to call it? What type of system do you want to have? You really start to get all the things that we've mentioned that we want to have. You have your custom ranks. You have your custom, who can do what can do, who can change the name, who can invite people, who can do all of this. And it is really this easy, by simply changing, this right here is just themes. And it says clearly it's themes. I was a little bit concerned, this kind of looks more like a military thing, and this kind of looks more like an organization, but this just kind of changes the back-end package. So you go in, you change it, you hit save, and you're off to the races. But you have the flexibility to come in and, change your banner. So we put a nice big, the fold banner there. And it gives you, your dimensions. So for those of you who are, image shop proficient, whether it be Photoshop or other, kind of what you're building. You've got your stuff for your background here. I recommend using transparency, so this has got some opacity here, and that's why it looks a little bit faded. You've got your logo that appears, kind of like your, kind of like in Facebook, when you got your individual picture, and I'm holding my hands up like you can see this right now. But, you've got your personal picture, your profile picture, and then you've got your banner picture. This is your personal picture that shows in that spot. Essentially, that's what your logo shows. The icon is the thing that appears under your name on the community site. So if you're in the forums and things like that, and you make a post, in addition to it's saying you're a veteran backer and a subscriber or whatever, you have this little button that shows that you are a member of that community. So you do have a lot of customization options as far as that. These are just the 4 basic branding options here, and I can kind of show you again on the preview page kind of how that all fits. It's really cool, giving you that having those backgrounds there. And people have done a lot of great stuff. I'm just showing mine because I'm just that kind of person. But
shameless self-promotion.
Not that I would ever do such a thing. But so that's what I was. This was the logo. This was the header. And of course, this was the background. And for those of you who are listening on the audio streams, I'm doing the very best I can to try to describe these things. So you might want to watch the video if you get a little lost. You do have the option to set up what type of organization you are, whether you are a PMC, private military corporation, a humanitarian organization. Wink, wink. Whether you're a religious organization, that's what this tag right here develops. Then it also gives you the ability to tag one and only one on both of these. Once you type your organization type and what your play style is, you can only put one. So, hardcore, casual, role-playing, those type things. So I really kind of personally wish I could have, PMC, hardcore, casual, role-playing, because I expect to have members that do a little bit of all of that. But maybe a future release coming down the road. Back within the management tab, you can put in your history and type up. Let me go back over here to the admin. My apologies. You can type in, slogans, your history. You can, go as long and in-depth as you want. You can add videos and YouTube stuff, which some people have already put, like recruitment trailers and music videos even for their guilds and organizations or whatever you want to call it. So there's a lot that you can do and really customize it. Within the members tab, this is where you can establish who people, you can send out your invites, you can search for people, you can kind of get an overview of, who are the people that are in charge of the group. You can search it by rank. Who are the people that are, fresh recruits, however that goes. You can see their activity, when was the last time they logged in. that type of stuff. On the recruitment page, this is where you set up, your applications, so you can, do a little introductory text. When you have pending applications, they will show here on the applications tab, of course. And if you are not a member, if you would like to send out an invitation to somebody, you can do that as well. You can say, hey, you're a member of my gaming community, you have an account, join our group. So, invite them by handle. So all those handles and things that we had to change when we went to the new website, we're starting to see all of that come into place. Why did we have to have a handle and a community moniker and all these different things? It's
there are reasons.
Yes.
Starting to fall into place. One of the things that I absolutely love is the ability to rename ranks. So if you want to have, Supreme Poobah down to, Insect, or, you can go in and custom name your ranks. You can assign ranks the ability, only marketing people can change, our what I call facilities in our group. Only the facility people who have access to the facilities role can change our branding. Only our officers and our recruitment and our founders can access the recruitment portion of it, but you could still have someone who's an officer but doesn't do recruiting. So it does give you a lot of flexibility and ownership to make it your own, which is great. And
they will be expanding that later on too.
Absolutely.
You're going to be able to have subgroups, and when you can do the fleet management, you'll be able to tie those officers to certain fleets, and there's so much more coming down the pipe. It's amazing.
Yeah, this was really everything that we had initially asked for, or everything I had asked for, I got. I was hoping for some more stuff as far as, what we were talking about, being able to do massive... gosh, I lost my train of thought here. The cooperatives, that I'm going to work with this community to achieve this goal, but we're still going to remain independent. Like Brandon said, that's coming, so we will have that option.
Now, I actually heard something interesting on Reddit earlier about, since now everything's live, people were getting either emails or private messages on the forum. I think people are actually going out to the forum, pulling up the member list, and sending out like spam email invites. Hey, come join my organization. Here's my organization page. And because I guess there's an easy way for people to send mass messages to multiple people at the same time. There's some groups out there that are actually resorting to mass email invites. So I guess keep an eye out for that, because luckily I haven't got one, but I think it's because I'm already in an organization. But if you're not in an organization, until that gets addressed, or if it can be addressed, sorry about your bad luck.
Yeah.
And now you can only visit one or join one organization at a time as it is too.
Yeah.
But to your point, I did get that. I did get one message to join somebody else, even though I am a part of a group already.
Really? Okay.
So you can still get it.
So there's going to be more to this coming. It's and we should see it as they continue to modify it and add more to it. But it just amazes me how much came at launch, how much we got this quickly, and it's awesome. It's everything that it's more than what you need to have a guild or an organization. It's enough to customize it and make it your own. And you're getting the ability to do the your organizations, your cooperative type stuff.
They give you a chat room. That's awesome.
Yeah, and that is worth mentioning. The chat did change with this. For those of you that might not have been there recently, but your officers can have their own, get their own chat channel. You've got your community chat role. All of that changed with that. So it's great to they've given us a lot. They've given us the tools that we asked for.
And you're not locked into just their site either. You can lock this into other programs that support that Open OS or the XMPP. That's fantastic. They're actually...
you think about that too for organizations, cooperatives. that's going to be an amazing thing if you want to have a out-of-game communication network cross community. So if you wanted to plan things without maybe certain people being able to overhear you for humanitarian type things.
Certain covert humanitarian love package drop-off missions.
Right. So you could you could have that XMPP link to another website. You could say, everyone go to humanitariancarepacketsoflove.com and we'll plan all of our humanitarian missions there.
You know what? I'm going to see if that's available.
So it's pretty cool, and I'm really excited to see it. Still no word on the Hangar module as far as an intended release date. They've speculated when it's ready, sometime in the spring. But I think that right now...
DFM?
Excuse me, you're right, DFM. My apologies. Right now, I think that this gives us enough to stay excited and enough to, to sink our teeth into. We've kind of, one of the concerns that we talked about in a previous show was, keeping the momentum going. And if they don't have something to release on a schedule, is it going to affect, income and things like that? And I hate to say it, when there was nothing between Christmas and this event, or the end of dogfighting and organizations, there was a noticeable drop-off in income. They lost some momentum. As soon as organizations came back in, you could see that momentum picked right back up. So they don't need the momentum. They have all the money they need to make a fantastic game. But, being in a capitalistic society, more money ain't a bad thing.
And the general attitude on the forums has been a lot more positive as of late, too, because they have that information to everybody.
That, and we're getting to the point now where we're getting back down to the 10,000 ish slots left for alpha. It's trickling down, not as fast as it has in the past, but it's beginning to move again fairly well.
Right. I mean, and if you look at the monthly totals and your weekly totals, you can kind of see some highs and lows, and it's just from an economic, marketing, branding, business point of view, it's really interesting to see how the game is rolling and picking up momentum and losing momentum and gaining momentum and all that fun stuff. That being said, right now we're at about 37,729,000 and change. They're obviously hitting those $1 million stretch goals at a pretty decent clip. So, I
mean, look at that. 378 or just under 379,000 backers right now. That is awesome.
Yeah.
And that's just pledging.
Yeah.
That's a hell of a thing to have just at this.
Yeah, when there's really nothing to play. I mean, you can hop in and look at your spaceships and form your fleets, but no one can play anything. I mean, there's not a game. There's not a competitive element of this yet. And they've already got that many people investing in something that was supposed to be dead.
Yep.
So, it's pretty fascinating stuff. Well, I wanted to keep this one short because we're in kind of the slow newsy cycles. Do you guys have anything that you want to mention that I didn't bring up?
Long live the fold.
Yeah, we're gonna next week's episode, our next episode in 2 weeks from now. If there's no big announcement, we're going to focus on kind of some of the smaller segments, focusing in on a specific ship or a specific stretch goal or a specific strategy, kind of tear it down a little bit. And, of course, we'll keep our general off-topic conversations about, EVE space battles and things like that. But we'll start to tear it down a little bit on these slower news weeks and give you guys something to look forward to. So, all things being equal, if there's no big news announcement next week, or, well, in the coming 2 weeks, we will tear apart, let's say... What's a good
The Information Runner.
The Information Runner. We'll tear apart the Information Runner. And go through as much as we can and speculate and get 90% of it wrong. And all that fun stuff.
But it'll be fun.
yeah, keep your comments, your corrections, all of that stuff. Keep them coming to us. Don't forget to follow us on the YouTube. Subscribe, like, comment, all that fun stuff. Favorite us. I don't know if that button still exists, but if it does, favorite it. Make sure that you're subscribed on our iTunes podcast feeds or our Stitcher feeds. For those of you listening to audio, we do videos, so don't, when we talk about things in detail and I'm pointing at the screen, you'll actually see what I'm talking about. So that is available there for you. Keep those reviews coming. We like them. Good and bad. Comments are all good. We can only get better, and the only way we can get better is if we know we're doing something wrong. If there's any fan-made content, if you guys want to, change some of our stuff, our logos, our banners, things like that, I'm open to it. So send in some fan-made stuff. I might feature some of that as well.
Cool.
Anything else, guys?
I'm good.
I'm good.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that brings episode number to an end for year after 0 to an end. And I did get back from winning hosting Saturday Night Live. So thank you everybody who watched me on Saturday Night Live. I appreciate that. So
Oh my god.
Anyway, we'll catch you next time. This is Thomas signing out.
Bobby, I'm out of here.
Brandon, out of here.
Later, guys.
The Fold is built upon the foundation of exploration. We amass the best fleets and ships our credits can buy. As we chart the unknown, we seek new opportunities for trade and commerce. It's our priority to protect our members, our clients, and our investments. We do not run. We do not hide. We do not surrender. From the few to the many. From the unknown to the known. From weakness to strength. From modesty to prosperity. Seek out a representative to enter the fold.